Morning. So excited to see everyone here, packed house. I know you're all here to hear the person after me, so I won't take up too much of your time. But I've actually been to almost every single Geekend since it started in 2009. That year, I met an iOS developer from Charleston who became my co-founder a year later. And I've just been coming back every year, getting so much of it every year. I'm totally hooked and just really honored to have been a part in organizing the event this year. Over the next 2 days, you're going to hear from over 60 brilliant technologists, entrepreneurs, and designers who are going to share their stories about building innovative companies, products, and experiences. You will hear their successes, their failures, their lessons learned, and I hope that you will be inspired the same way that I have been just talking to them. You're going to hear about new technologies and tools that they're using to build new customer and user experiences, virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. And you will learn about how all of us can use available technology to be more innovative and successful in what we're doing. Because really, all companies are becoming tech companies right now. Software is increasingly becoming the infrastructure and plumbing for providing business services and products. This has changed the way that we create products, deliver them, and communicate with our customers. The product cycle is becoming shorter. It's becoming easier, faster, and cheaper to launch companies and products. Communications with customers is becoming more personal and relevant through automation and machine learning. But at the core of innovation is the customer experience. We as consumers have come to expect more from the products and services that we use. And with so many options to choose from, it's getting harder for companies to differentiate and to reach new customers. In order to stand out and succeed, companies must have an unrelenting focus on constantly improving the customer experience. I apologize for reading that. I didn't have time to. And today, you're in for a treat. I'm excited to introduce our keynote speaker, who knows a thing or two about standing out and delighting his customers. Jesse Cole came to Savannah about a year ago. He created a new baseball franchise in Savannah, the Savannah Bananas, which has been wildly successful. The Savannah Bananas are part of a collegiate baseball league and have sold out 32 straight games and have a waiting list in the thousands for tickets. Jesse is disrupting and changing the way that fans experience baseball, one of America's oldest institutions. He also owns and operates the Gastonia Grizzlies, and his baseball teams have welcomed more than 1 million fans to their ballparks and have been featured on MSNBC, CNN, and ESPN. Jesse's teams have been awarded Organization of the Year, Entrepreneur of the Year, Business of the Year, and have won 3 CPL championships. But that is not all. Jesse is passionate about sharing his story and helping others achieve success. Through his website and podcast, he shares his secrets to success and stories from people who have gone from ordinary to extraordinary. And he has just released his first book in which he shares his own advice as well as tips from the best entrepreneurs in the world. The book is called Find Your Yellow Tux: How to Be Successful by Standing Out. The first day that the book was available on Amazon, it achieved the top spot in 3 categories. So if you'd like to buy a copy of the book, we have about 30 copies in the back that will be available until 11 o'clock, so you might want to grab one right after this talk. Jesse is one of a kind, and I think that you'll see that shortly. But he is one of many creative, driven, and successful entrepreneurs that are helping to grow and shape our community. And over the next 2 days, we will have the honor of hearing from many of these extraordinary individuals. So without further ado, I give you Man
The days of just marketing your business and product are over. If you want to succeed, you have to think differently to stand out.
It's not even a baseball game, it's a circus. It's a circus. Take your pictures from the magazine.
If you're like everyone else, you're going to get results like everyone else. I believe every business has one thing that makes them stand out. It's the best version of themselves. If you want more, you got to do more. It's as simple as that. Whatever's normal, do the exact opposite. And for me, normal gets normal results. The next step is to love your customers more than you love your product. What is the perfect experience for your customer? Start there. Attention beats marketing 1,000% of the time. You know what? It's the difference you make in people's life that matters most. Everything we do is fans first, and that's to take care of our customers. Be patient in what you want for yourself, but be impatient in how much you give to others. So stand out, be different, have fun, and enjoy the show. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Here we go! Steady Stop it! Whatever's normal, do the exact opposite. And as you can see, I live by that mantra. So first, I want to thank the Geekend organizers for inviting a crazy guy in a yellow tuxedo to kick off this event, because that is beyond normal. But I feel like I'm going to fit in with you guys, and we're going to have a lot of fun today. Biggest thing I've learned is normal gets normal results. So today, I'm going to make you think differently. I'm going to challenge the conventional thinking. And I'm going to show some of the things that we've done to stand out in business and how you can use it in your business or in your startup as well. I like to call it finding your yellow tux. And it's the one thing that makes you stand out. It's the best version of yourself. So we're going to go through all the steps. We're going to get involved. There's going to be promotions today. There's going to be giveaways. It's going to be a show. So are you guys with me or what? All right. First, let's start with the facts. This is not the only yellow tuxedo I own. I actually own 6 of them. I've slept in them. I even proposed to my wife in them in front of a sold-out crowd, and thank goodness she said yes. She's actually still married to me, which I'm blessed to have that happening. But it's the one thing I've been able to do, and it's been an opportunity for me to create attention and stand out. And so we're going to share those stories, and for many of you who don't know, I'll give you a little context. Just 2 months ago, or 2 years ago, my wife and I were living on an airbed. We were all out of money. We emptied out our savings account 2 years ago this January. But then we used some of the techniques, the tactics we learned to be able to create unbelievable attention, create an ultimate fan experience, and really care for our customers and care for our employees like family. And that enabled us to have some of the success that you've seen. We've been blown away what's happened. To sell out every single game, right now as we're going into our 3rd season, the wait list is in the thousands. And we have a great opportunity to sell out the entire season before the season even begins, which has never been done before. And that's a thank you to the testament to you guys, but also a few of the techniques that we've learned. So, I'm going to share some of these techniques, these stories. It's going to be a show. But first I want to share where I learned some of these crazy lessons. They are from my 3 biggest mentors. And in my office, I have custom-made posters. The first one is of Walt Disney himself. And it says, "Vision. It's kind of fun to do the impossible." And many people don't realize with Walt Disney, they talk about the movies and the theme parks. He went all in throughout his entire life. He went all in and risked his mortgage. He put all his money to save his caricatures, to save his movies, and save his theme parks. He had unbelievable vision. The second one, probably many of you have never heard. It's Bill Beck, and he was an owner of teams back in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. And his poster says, "Innovation. I don't break the rules, but I merely test their elasticity." And if you guys know what we do with the bananas, we break a lot of the rules. And I learned that from Bill Beck. What he would do during games, he would actually give 12 live lobsters to a fan during a game, just to see what would happen. He actually had a game where he let the fans manage the game, a Major League Baseball game. He had signs in those stands, and they could say whether to bunt, steal, or hit and run. It was crazy. He hired a midget, right, to play in a Major League game. He walked on 4 pitches. It was a very small strike zone. He was crazy, and I learned a lot from him. And then the final one, which has become popular again now, is a poster of P.T. Barnum, and it says showmanship. And it says, a terrible thing happens without promotion. Nothing. And that's what I've learned from P.T. Barnum. He knew how to create attention more than anyone I've ever seen. People know about the circus, but how many people know about what he did with his museum? One thing I loved about P.T. Barnum, he actually hired the worst musicians ever in New York City to play on the balcony in front of his museum. And he told them to play the worst possible music they could play. And people would come up and like, this is terrible, this is terrible. And he said, what do you expect to get for free? Come into the museum. Interesting ploy there, interesting technique. He would bring a giant elephant to put in front of his museum just to get attention. So guys, really, when you go back, how can you get an elephant and put it in front of your business? That's what we need to start thinking about. I'm just kidding, but it's obviously P.T. Barnum learned a lot. So, those are my 3 mentors, and here's how it's going to work today. It is going to be a show. I am probably the only baseball owner in the country that will say this. Baseball, unfortunately, is too long, too slow, and too boring. Does anybody else agree with me out here? Thank you. So, where baseball games are 9 innings, we are going to do a 9-inning show, but we're going to eliminate all the even innings. It's going to be the 1st inning, the 3rd inning, the 5th inning, the 7th inning, and the 9th inning. I think Major League Baseball should do the same. But here's what we're going to do. Go through it. I'm going to ask you guys to get involved. There's a few ways you can go through life, and I've seen this. You can go through life passively, go through life, go through your emotions, or you can attack life. You can have energy. So today, I'm going to ask you to bring the energy to get involved, and we're going to start it right now. You ready? All right. First inning is called the mirror moment, and this is what every company needs to start to be innovative. It's the starting point of innovation. So, to go into this first inning, we're going to do a little promotion here. We do it at our ballpark. It's called Sing in the Blank. If you've been to a game, usually what we do is we get 2 grown men to be up on the field. They're usually big, grown men. And we put a mic right in front of them. And we play a song. When the song finishes, they have to finish that song lyric. Now, usually what it is a love song. So you get 2 grown men singing a love song into each other. It's very weird. But today, we're not going to do it. We're going to make a song that fits this theme. So it's going to be this side over here. All right, you guys ready? This side versus this side. When we play the... All right, a lot of faith right here, my man. I can feel you. You're feeling this. All right. Whoever sings the loudest is going to win. What do you win? Absolutely nothing. All right. We're ready? So the song finishes. You belt out the lyrics. Here we go. Come on, old school. Yes, this section right here, you went absolutely nothing. I can't believe that actually worked. You guys just saying Michael Jackson in the middle of Geekend. Thank you for that. Dream come true. That is the point. It is the man in the mirror. It is the mirror moment. And every business starts this. So I challenge all you, whatever company you're in, whatever business you're a part of, put yourself in the customer's shoes. And think about as a customer, what frustrates you about the business? What frustrates you about the industry? What upsets you? And when you think about all these different businesses, you can usually find things pretty easily. I'll share our mirror moment. I'll never forget 2007, I took over a team in Gastonia, North Carolina, a little small baseball team. And I showed up to the ballpark on my first day of the job, and I found out the real numbers. I found out that the team had only had 200 fans coming to the games. I found out the team had lost $100,000 a year. And I found out there was only $268 in the bank account. We had 3 full-time employees, and payroll was on Friday. That was my first day. I made 10 phone calls that day to the business community. The first 7 said they never even heard of the team. The next 2 calls said they would never work with us. And that last call hung up on me. It's the most amazing first day of my life, all right? But I went home that day, and I had a mirror moment. I realized, wow, the team had been there for 7 years. No one was coming to the games. They were failing. There's a serious problem. And I was fortunate to see that point was, the problem was with baseball. People thought it was too long, too slow, too boring, and they weren't coming to the games. So we had to change it. And the mirror moment was, wow, if they're frustrated by this, we can't make it about baseball. We gotta make it all about entertainment. And I say this always, what business are you in, but what business are you really in? And for us, we were 100% in the entertainment business. So I remember that phone call to the owner of the team at the point, and I said, Ken, we're no longer going to be a baseball team. He goes, what? I go, we're going to be a circus, and a baseball game will break out. He goes, what do you mean? I go, our players will do choreographed dances, we'll have grandma beauty pageants at the games, I'll be in the dunk tank, and it'll be an absolute circus. He didn't fire me. He said, what do we have to lose? So we tried it that first day, and we started doing all crazy different things. Now, did we do things that failed? You better believe it. We had a salute to underwear night, where literally people came to the ballpark wearing underwear over their pants, and they got a free ticket. Or we also threw underwear in the crowd. It was the most unfamily-friendly night we've ever done. We had a flatulence fun night, where literally we gave away whoopee cushions at the gate, we had a bean burrito eating contest on the field, and we had a farting contest. Nobody showed up, all right? But it was a great thing that we learned. We started creating attention with this. And I'll get into that in the third inning. But if you want to think about whatever company you're part of, even think about tech companies. How did Uber start? How did Lyft start? You hear the stories. Travis, the founder of Uber, was in Paris, and he was so frustrated trying to get a cab, and it never came, never came, and never came. It wasn't convenient. And then when he finally got it, it was overpriced, and it wasn't a good deal. It was there that he had his mirror moment. Can we create something that's better for the customer, that doesn't frustrate customers? And they created Uber. Same thing, let's think about the companies that didn't innovate. How's Blockbuster doing these days? Blockbuster literally was dominating. They had the entire market share completely. They could have bought Netflix a few years ago for just $50 million, which was pennies for them. And they declined. They said, no, people are going to want to go rent movies, and they want to be priced, for late fees. It was crazy. And Netflix said this isn't the way it should be. They started being innovative. They had that mirror moment. So whatever you're in right now, take your spot and think in the customer's shoes. Once you have that mirror moment, realize what frustrates you, that's the starting point. All right, so we are now time for the third inning, which I love more than anything. It's how to stand out by creating attention. So it's time for some giveaways. Let's get some music going. All right, who wants some giveaways? Let me hear you. All right, giveaways, Savannah Bananas giveaways. Here we go. Here we go. Oh yeah. Here we go. Over here. Oh, see that louder. Oh, you're standing up first. You get one. Here we go. One more. One more. All right, here we go. All right, open up what you received. Make sure you check. Sir, turn around. Did you get the big banana? Turn around again. Oh, sir, you got the small banana. All right, let's go down a little bit. This is our Dolce & Banana underwear. We released this 3 months ago. We actually did a whole video commercial with a person wearing it, and actually we had an Italian music playing, black and white, and we unveiled the Dolce & Banana underwear. Now, if you got the big banana, congratulations. You got the small banana, sir, I'm sorry, all right? What we learned with this, and this has become a part of our DNA in every company, attention beats marketing 1,000% of the time. I guarantee this right now. There's no other sports team selling underwear. They sell shirts, they sell hats, we sell banana underwear, okay? And what happened, it was one of our best sellers for stocking stuffers this past year. So people that actually got that as a stocking stuffer, God bless them, all right? Enjoy it. But it's one of the lessons that we've learned. So whatever company you're in, you have to find out how to create attention. Because if you're just marketing, that's what everyone else is doing. And I'll tell you, we learned firsthand with this. We came to Savannah, not many people know this story, on October 5th, 2015. And we showed up here ready to take on the world. When we got to the ballpark that first day, we saw that the phone lines were cut, the internet lines were cut, everything was taken out of the stadium. So myself, my wife, our president, and our 3 employees right out of college set up a picnic table inside an old storage building. And we started working there, making phone calls. It was the worst setup you could ever imagine for a business. And we were calling everyone and reaching out to the community. And what did we get? Crickets. Our first two months, we sold 1 season ticket. 1. And thank you, sir. That man was a very, very nice gentleman. It was almost like a donation. We sold 1 season ticket. We went months, it got even worse. It got worse. And I'll never forget the phone call I received on January 15th, 2016. My wife and I were attending my best friend's wedding in New Jersey. And at 4:45, we received a phone call that we had overdrafted our account. We were completely out of money. And as we're at that wedding, we barely focused. We drove home from New Jersey, and if you've been in New Jersey, it was already gray and miserable, so it was just depressing as was. And we were driving home, and my wife turned to me and said, we have no other option. We have to sell our house. So we sold our dream house 2 years ago up in Charlotte, and we said we're going all in on Savannah. We emptied out our savings accounts, and we found a fixer-upper down here in Savannah. Now, just to give you an idea on the fixer-upper, it was on the market for like 3 years. It was a tiny one-bedroom attached to a little two-bedroom. We couldn't even get in the two-bedroom because it was rented out for another year after that. And I'll never forget, my wife takes me in there, and I walk in to the place, and I walk in and I said, nope, no way, no, 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 no. So we bought it. And it was one of the grossest places we'd ever been. It was literally smaller than this whole stage. The bathroom, the toilet, you couldn't even get into because it was against the pantry. So you had to like do this like weird yoga to be able to sit on the toilet. We wore socks when we were sleeping because the floors were disgusting. She remembers the night that woke up that there was a cockroach on my face. There were ants everywhere, and we were trying to live on $30 a week, literally going grocery shopping at Walmart. And if you try to go grocery shopping at Walmart for $30 a week, I don't think you're eating actual food. Like, it was just like mush, all right? And we did this, and this was just 2 years ago. But the point I'm making is we were just doing marketing. We were sending emails. We were putting it on Facebook. But we had no attention. We didn't have the eyes and ears of the community. So we had to do something they call a lightning strike. And this is what Apple's been known to do. Amazon, they have these huge events to try to make it bigger than ever. And we did that on February 25th, 2016. That's when we announced our team name. Now, many people would have gone with a generic name. The Savannah Seagulls, the Savannah Porks, the Savannah Spirits. They had tons of suggestions. But there's only one suggestion for Bananas. This crazy woman, which I love her to death, she said, you said you wanted to be different. So we decided we're going to go with Bananas because we could have a senior citizen dance team called the Banana Nanas. You know, we could have a promotion where we throw bananas from the top deck and they could catch in their pants and it'd be called Banana in the Pants. We came up with all these ideas and we said we're going to do it. So the week before the announcement, our first shipment of t-shirts came in and Bananas was spelled wrong. There were too many N's. First mistake. Second time, we're ready to go, we announce it, and all of a sudden, everyone starts talking. It was #1 trending on Twitter. We were getting reached out from everyone, CNN, ESPN, BuzzFeed, Yahoo. Everyone was talking, except locally, everyone hated it. I mean, everyone. Here, who's from Savannah here? All right. Who hated the name when it first came out? All right. The rest of you were lying, every one of you. I remember hearing, we got emails, you guys are an embarrassment to this city. The owners should be thrown out of town. You'll never sell a ticket. I thought I wasn't sleeping before. That night I was like, wow, this is bad. But what happened was we created tension. And people started to realize what we're doing. It's like, you know what? These guys are interesting. They are going to have fun. It's not just about a baseball game. And it was that moment that changed everything. So we built that into our DNA. How do you create attention? Whatever's normal, do the exact opposite. So we do so many things like that, but it can be done in any type of business. I'll never forget this guy named Al Fadden. He said, you know what, my book was coming out, I had to do it differently. So Al Fadden, he had his book, Innovation on Demand. He bought an entire retail store in Minneapolis. An entire store. And he set it up as a bookstore for just one book, his own. A one-book bookstore, all right? He had his book in different sections like self-help, business, psychology. He had a sign that said shoplifting is encouraged because he just wanted people to have his book, all right? But what do you think happened? He got so much attention. He was in People magazine. National media outlets were covering him. So what happened? He sold a ton of books, more than he ever would. So that's where I get that theme. Whatever's normal, do the exact opposite. How can you create attention with your business? And so that's been a huge success for us, and we built it into our DNA. If you watch some of the things we've done just a year ago, you know, we felt terrible. You know, President Obama no longer had a job. So, of course, we offered him an internship with the Savannah Bananas. We were going to pay him a stipend. We got him a host family that he'd be all set. We still haven't heard from him, but it created a ton of attention, all right? You know, literally last year we started a beer fest. Most people do beer festivals in the evening. We decided to do one that starts at 9 a.m. because in Savannah, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning, all right? You find those different things to create attention. So whatever business you're in, it sounds, oh, you know, it sounds easy because you're a sports team. Well, I've seen so many of my companies, you think about how do they do their announcements? How do they use videos? How do they play with timely matters? So that has been a key for us, and we're going to continue doing it, whether it's with underwear, offering president's jobs, or doing crazy things. That's what it's about. Create attention. All right, we ready for the fifth inning? All right. Yes, a lot of excitement right here. You're the best. You're my favorite. You're going to come on stage soon. All right. The fifth inning is create the ultimate customer experience. It's love your customers more than you love your product. All right, some more giveaways. We ready here? Get the music going. All right. Yeah, get it going. Here we go. More giveaways here. This past year, we teamed up with Birds Cookies and gave away a ton of cookies, 2,300 pounds. So you're going to get some too. Here we go! Cookies! Let's get it going. They're going everywhere. I'm not done. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Start eating your cookies. It's a good time for it right now, 9:30 in the morning. Love your customers more than you love your product. Most people, when they come to you, they ask what do. You talk about your product. You talk about your business. Very rarely do you talk about the who, your customers. The name of our company is Fans First Entertainment. Everything is about the customers. Everything we do. There's two books that have guided me in this. It's Raving Fans by Ken Blanchard. An amazing book. You've heard it right here. He says, how can you imagine in any industry what would be the perfect experience from the customer from the first time they interact with you to the end? And he talked about a grocery store that literally would have a red carpet and valet parking and do all your shopping for you. He talked about a gas station where it was like a pit stop and people would sprint to your car, clean your car, give you gas, and they envision this crazy perfect experience. So even if you're in a tech business or whatever, you can still envision this from the first time they interact with you. The second book, Customers for Life, was by Carl Sewell. And Carl Sewell owns car dealerships in Dallas, Texas. And he realized a crazy statistic. He realized that a customer for life with him, from buying a car when they're 16, 18 years old, all the way until they retire, and all the service, the oil changes, the tires, everything, was worth $517,000. So my question to you is, if you knew what the value of your customer for life is, how much would you put into that customer experience? Here's what Carl Sewell did. Carl Sewell actually hired street cleaners to clean a half mile leading up all the way to his car dealership to make the most immaculate entrance. He made his bathrooms like the Ritz-Carlton with chandeliers in the bathrooms. This is a car dealership, all right? He went all out, and what happened? Business skyrocketed because everyone was talking about the perfect customer experience. So I challenge you to think about it. I'll share some things that we do, even from a technology standpoint. We map the journey. So we realize, first people see us sometimes on our website. So what does that look like? I was fortunate to spend 3 days with Donald Miller in Nashville, Tennessee. He runs a company about clarifying businesses' messages. And he said 99% of websites are done wrong. He said, literally, it's all about you and all about your company. When someone goes to your website, it's not about you. It's about how you can help them. You've got to make it very, very clear. So what we do, we show people having fun on our website. It says we make baseball fun and make it very easy for people to know how they can have fun with us. But here's one of the big keys. When people buy something from you for the first time, what happens? When they buy from us, the first thing that happens, they get an email and it says, congrats. You just made the best decision of your day. Right now, as you bought your tickets, we grabbed them. We ran around the stadium, hoisting them up in the air. We had Gatorade showers over each other. And now your tickets are in maximum security in our vault. They're ready for you to go bananas. All right? That's what happens. Now tell me this, last time you bought a ticket to a concert or an event, what happened? Is it just a payment confirmation? You know, it's a payment confirmation. So how can you even make that little detail fun? You know, after that, what do? We're fortunate to sell hundreds of thousands of tickets. Every single person that buys a ticket from us gets a thank you call. Normally, what happens, we answer the phone and we call them and they say, did my credit card not work? We're like, no. We're just trying to call and thank you. And that is the key. That's the hall before they've even experienced our product. Now, if you've been to a game and you pull up to the ballpark, one of the first things you may see is a penguin. Not a real penguin, they don't work in Savannah, but a person dressed up as a penguin. There are parking penguins. We literally have people dressed up as penguin costumes guiding you to your parking spot. True story, my wife, the last 2 games, we were short on staff. So she was actually at the games dressed in a penguin, going like this. She said, how long do I need to do this? And it's that the first experience. Then after they walk by the parking penguins, we have our players in full uniform, set up, doing autographs, passing out programs. Then if you pass them, if it's a weekend night, we have our full marching pep band lined up playing Rocky theme music. We're playing the final countdown. And then we have our ticket takers dressed up in banana costumes, literally ripping your tickets that look like bananas, and they're ripping the peel off. Then as you walk past that, you'll see the Banana Nanas dancing to Kesha or Britney Spears. Seeing 70-year-old women dancing that kind of songs is very weird, all right, but it's a lot of fun. And then we try to put on the best show we can. And the big thing is, a last impression makes a lasting impression. So when people leave the ballpark, what do? We make sure our staff, our performers are out thanking people and actually hugging them and taking selfies. My question to you is, last time you went to a restaurant, how often are they out there actually thanking you when you leave? Most times you just walk right past. What about when you go to Walmart? They're really well known for their greeters, all right? Let's talk about the Walmart greeters. They kind of just sit there like this. They might even look at you. You may get if you're lucky. Think about that last impression. So even in technology, what happens the first time they interact with you? How do you make it clean, cut, fun, simple, and easy? And we map that entire journey. There's an unbelievable hotel in LA called the Magic Castle. It is not a Ritz-Carlton, it's just kind of a low-key hotel, but it's got the highest ratings of every hotel. And here's what they do, just one little touch point. You go out to the pool, and there's phones at all the tables. And if someone just grabs the phone, it answers, popsicle hotline. And they said, what? Like, would you like cherry? Would you like raspberry? Would you like, and you're like, what? And they come out in a suit on a platter and deliver you a free popsicle, all right? It's such a simple, tiny gesture, but it's got the highest ratings because of the popsicle hotline. So what are your points with your business, you're getting into business, that surprise and delight your customers? I think that is the absolute key. Now again, I know it's very easy, you're a baseball team, but I'm gonna give you one other example. I was speaking to a group of entrepreneurs about 3 months ago, and I was speaking to a group, and one of the guys was a home builder, an owner of a home building company. And he sat there for 30 minutes after the presentation, just writing down ideas. I was like, what is he doing? A month ago, I was invited to hear a presentation from him. He told me before, he goes, you're gonna enjoy this. He goes, we went all in on the fans first experience. I go, I'm ready, bring it on. He said, here's what we do. We brought together the spouses, the significant others, and our entire staff. We had a dinner and said, how can we do the perfect experience from the beginning to the end? We had our staff come up with ideas like, well, when they buy the house, they could have a mariachi band there. We could have fireworks. They came up with all these crazy ideas. And finally, this is what they started doing. As soon as someone buys a house from them, they send them a video of their entire staff, middle-aged people, literally like a rap music video. They're in costumes, they're throwing money out like this, they're champagning it up, all right? They have a huge pen, they're signing a contract, they're dancing, and they said, welcome to the family, all right? They send that video to you, and people are going crazy like this, it's a home. And then what happens the next day? They get a package, which includes a Yeti cooler, an iPad, drinks, cups, unbelievable package of shirts and everything. And they're like, wow. And there's also a little questionnaire and says, hey, what's your favorite drinks, favorite snacks, favorite food, favorite music? And throughout the whole process, as they're building their home, they try to make it the best experience. They have drone footage of when the cement is being poured. They're like, hey, cement's being poured, we're rocking and rolling. And they just send that to you as they're building the house. One of the most magical stories I'll remember is it told about an anniversary. They found out a couple had their anniversary coming up. And here's what they did. They had a limo pick them up at the airport, and they brought them all the way to their unfinished house. It was just a framed house at that point. And as they got there, they had a private dinner set up with their favorite food, music playing, and it was all set up to celebrate their anniversary, their unfinished house. After that, that couple said so many reviews, they posted it all over social media, it went viral. And finally, the last process, when the house is sold, what do? They have a ribbon cutting, they have a red carpet, and they have a huge champagne party. Imagine if that's the house that you're getting built. How do you think their company's doing? They are killing it, all right? They can't even keep up because they envision that perfect experience. So, I challenge you to think about that from the beginning to the end, whatever you're doing, that perfect experience for the customers. All right, we ready for the 7th inning? All right. 7th inning stretch. Let's get up, a little stretching time. Here we go. Everyone. Here we go. Let's get the stretching going. All right. Here we go. Let's go. Well, the weirder stretching, the better. The weirder stretching. That is just awkward, sir. I don't know what that is. Wow. All right, over here. Good. All right. We're good. Stretch it out. Ma'am, I like the dancing right there. Good. All right. That is it. We are at the home stretch. As much as you love your customers and you love it more than your product, no matter what company you're, whether you're an entrepreneur and owner, you're going to be a part of a culture that cares. You're going to love your employees more than you love your customers. I'll give you a little secret here on our company fans first. Who do you think our biggest fans are? There you go. They're our people. They're the ones wearing the merchandise. They're the ones posting on social media. Most companies get this wrong. They think that, you know what? The employees work for me. You got it backwards. You work for the employees if you're a leader. How are you leading them? How are you helping them? How are you helping growing them? That is the key, and that's what we've seen. So, in our business, there's no policies. None. When you want to take time off, you take time off. When you want to come in, whatever you want to wear, you wear whatever you want to wear. If I actually had a dress code, that would be pretty bad for the employees. You're wearing a tuxedo, yellow tuxedo. So, we have zero policies. But what it's been about is about caring for them more than anything. And I'll share just a few quick stories. We had Danny McAfee, and he came to us back 2 years ago fighting for a job. Unbelievably persistent, trying to work to get a job, calling, email, fighting, but we didn't have any money. But finally we said, Danny, we'll give you a shot. And he came here and literally went out in the community and worked with every church, literally nonprofit, and helped raise almost $50,000 for nonprofits his first year. He single-handedly was one of the biggest reasons why we were able to sell out all of our games. And so after the season, my wife and I said, you know what? We got to think about how can we do something for Danny. And he's from Cleveland, Ohio. And unfortunately for him, he's a Cleveland sports fan. So he's got the Browns and all those other terrible teams. But if you remember 2 years ago, the Cleveland Indians had a pretty good run. And he had this one bond with his dad in Cleveland. They were diehard Indians fans. It's the one thing they loved more than anything. So remember, we brought him in and we brought the whole staff together. And we presented him with a toy airplane. And I said, Danny, this represents how far you've gone with us, how far you're going to go with us, and how you've taken everyone with you. And he looks and he goes, thanks, that's a nice airplane. And I go, also, Danny, it represents, we're flying you to Game 1 of the World Series. Tomorrow you're going with your dad. And to see a grown man just say, his first reaction was like, shut up. And then it became like emotional. And he flew out to go to Game 1 of the World Series. His dad, when he called him, his dad was crying. And it was this amazing thing, but here was the best moment of that whole thing. Our entire staff was cheering and celebrating for Danny. There was no jealousy, there was no envy. It was pulling for each other. And that's what I've seen with our staff. When you create a great culture, it's unbelievable how contagious it is. And that's how you can make great things. That's how you can stand out. That's how you can create the ultimate customer experience. Just 3 months ago, it has to start from the top. Just 3 months ago, Patrick, another 23-year-old for us. And just to put it clear, we have all millennials. Everyone on our staff is between 22 and 27 years old. I'm ancient to them, like literally, I'm really old. 23 years old, and in August, his father passed away. And it was an unbelievable emotional point for him, and he was taking lots of time off, and we were just trying to be there for him. And he had the wake scheduled. And I was up in Charlotte with our other team, and it was during the hurricane. And I'll never forget, I was like, I gotta be there for this wake, because I knew the whole staff was gonna be there. So I remember coming down 95, and it was so funny. I was the only car on the road going this way, because everyone was going away from the hurricane. So I was coming into the hurricane, and he had the wake. And I'll never forget Patrick, a big guy. I got there, and he gave me this huge hug, and he said, I love you, man. And it was such an emotional point for me, because I think that's something that's not talked about in companies. They don't talk about love. They don't talk about caring. It's about what can the employees do for you. I'll tell you, we've become a family, and that's all we talk about, is love and being there for each other. It sounds cliche, but that's how you build something truly great. Our president is only 26 years old, and I'll tell you, the leader he's become is unbelievable. He walks around the office, he spends time with people, he listens to them, and it just talks about caring. And one of the big things is about recognition. So for the kids here, I'll tell you, what means more to you? Probably be told that your parents are proud of you, all right? Your parents are proud of what you've accomplished. For us, we try to tell our people we're proud of what they accomplished. We try to catch people doing things right and not just catch people doing things wrong. So I talk about this because whatever company you're in, even if you're not the employer, you can build this in your culture. And I'm going to show you why. We had a young girl start with us, have an interview about 2 months ago. And she came that first day, and our whole staff got together. I wasn't involved, our president wasn't involved. They said, you know what, we're going to invite her into the culture, even if she doesn't get the job. So what do? They planned the perfect experience for this interview candidate. She came in, everyone was there to greet her. They had a whole brunch for her. They interacted with her the whole entire day. And she worked with us all night, and when she got back to her hotel, they had an entire gift package set up for her with all goodies and no underwear. There were no Bananas underwear in that. But it was tons of great big shirts, everything, and it was a wow moment. And what was crazy was the next day we got back to the ballpark, and that interview candidate had wrote 14 handwritten notes to every single person on our staff. She was hired immediately because she understood the culture and what it's about. So again, you can't talk about the ultimate customer experience unless you talk about how you create a family, how you care for them like anything. So that has become something that's been unbelievable for our staff. Here's the craziest part, right here. 4 months ago, we let all of our employees name their own salary. All of them. Literally. They came to us and said, guys, we believe in you. Come up with your own salary. What do you think they did? They asked for some raises. I mean, good raises. I mean, like 20% plus. And what did we do? We said yes to every single one of them. And here's what's happened. In the last 5 months, our business is up 150%. Because when you empower the employees and you care for them, when you take care of them, they take ownership of what you're trying to do. And we don't talk about this much, but I talk about it here because find how you become a part of that. No matter what you're trying to start, no matter what you're trying to innovate, that is the key to doing it together. So, love your employees more than you love your customers. And we are final to the 9th inning, all right? So in this one, I'm going to need you guys, I'm going to need some volunteers, all right? I need some volunteers. Are you sure? We're going to get crazy. I need 4 volunteers right here. Yes, I love it. All right, back there. All right, right here. Jump on in. Come on here. We're going to get crazier. Yes. It's the 9th inning. Stop standing still. Start standing out. What's your name, buddy? Jason? All right. Jason, welcome, my man. What's your name?
I'm Ben.
Ben, you already got underwear, didn't you? All right. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And your name? Sage? All right, I need one more volunteer. Another guy, if possible. All right, jump. Yes, right there, back here. All right. I love these guys have no idea what they're getting themselves into right now. None. All right. Ben, Sage, and your name again? Jason, 1. All right, here's what's going to happen, guys. This is called dancing in the dark. All right? So here's what's going to happen. I love I didn't tell them they were dancing yet. Now they're on stage. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to play music, and you are having an old-fashioned dance-off, but you are completely blindfolded. All right? We do this at our games. So here's what's going to work. When I touch your shoulder, that means you need to take your blindfold off and walk off stage. We're going to get it down to 2 people dancing by themselves. All right? You're already shaking your head. You're feeling this right now, Ben, aren't you? There's no music playing. You got it in your head. All right? The key is to dance as crazy as you can dance. All right? 1, you got this? Sage, you got this? Jason, you got this? Ben, you got it? All right. Let's get the music going. The crazier, the better. Oh, yes. I like this. I like this. Whoa, this guy can dance a little bit. All right. All right. Oh, this is getting weird. Whoa, all right. All right. I like this. Where we're going. No, stay on stage. Stay on stage, Ben. You're still dancing. You're still dancing. All right, this is good. All right, this is cool. I like your dancing. All right, it is Jason versus Ben. Jason versus Ben. Jason versus Ben. All right, here we go. Jason versus Ben. Jason versus Ben. Ben, you gotta go crazy. Ben, you gotta go crazy. You gotta get crazy now, Ben. What do you got, my man? What do you got? Ben, it's you versus Jason, Ben. That's it. Get a little crazier, Ben. Whoa. All right, Ben, take your blindfold off. You were dancing completely by yourself. Let's give it a round of applause for Ben right here. You absolutely tore me out, my friend. All right. Wow. Thank you for that. All right. That is our final promotion because one of the last things I kind of want to leave you with is that you got to stand out, you got to be different, and you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And Ben, that was the most uncomfortable dancing I've ever seen. More than anything, you got to stop thinking and start doing. You got to get out there and try new things. You know, most people say, how do you do it? We just start. We get a little crazy. It's okay to embrace that. Back in 2008, a small startup company launched in San Francisco, and they couldn't make ends meet. They were struggling. They maxed out their credit cards, over $30,000 in credit card debt, and they were about to go under. But they said, you know what, we believe in this company. We're going to try something to make money. So back in 2008, they launched a cereal business. It was during the election with President Obama against John McCain. So they actually went to the grocery stores and took all the cereal they could get, and they started making cereal boxes. They made one cereal called Obama O's, the cereal of change, all right? Then they made another cereal called Captain McCain's, a maverick in every box. And they sold those cereal boxes all over. They became commemorative editions, and they sold like crazy. They raised $40,000 selling those cereal boxes, and it kept the business in business. That company is now worth $30 billion. It's Airbnb, and that's how they started their company. My challenge to you is to think differently on how you can be innovative. And you know, when there's challenges like when we were living on an airbed and struggling, we found ways to get crazy, to create attention. What Brian Chesky from Airbnb said, the one thing that will kill Airbnb is if we don't get crazy enough. We gotta stay crazy. So I challenge you to do that. And the big thing I wanna leave you with here is you gotta understand the difference you make in people's lives. I'll never forget in 2011, it was the first time I saw the Simon Sinek TED Talk, How Great Leaders Inspire Action. How many people have seen that? All right. If you haven't seen it, watch it. I'll never forget, I was in a conference and I saw the film and I ran out of the conference. I left the entire conference. I'm not advising to do that today, okay? But I ran out of the conference and I watched it over and over and over and over again. And what Simon said, it's not what you do, it's not how you do it, it's why you do it. It's the purpose behind why you do everything. And what we've been realize is it's about the difference we make in people's lives. Our company, we don't talk about revenue. We talk about impact. And that's been the huge, huge difference for us. In 2016, I started the thank you experiment. Every day, I wrote a thank you letter to someone. It was about I picked one word for the year, and it was care, and I said, I'm going to write a thank you letter every single day. One of my first thank you letters was to Simon Sinek. And I'll never forget, I was driving to lunch a few months after that, and I get an unknown phone number. And all of a sudden, I pick it up. And I'm like, hello, this is Jesse. He goes, Jesse, it's Simon Sinek here. And I go, shut up, who is this? And he goes, Jesse, it's Simon Sinek. I go, no way, who's messing with me? And he goes, no, I just want to call and let you know how much your thank you letter inspired me. I go, Simon, are you kidding me? You have one of the most well-known videos, books, you're inspiring millions of people every day. He goes, well, your letter inspired me. Because that's my purpose. It's to live an inspired life and to inspire other people. And Simon Sinek was living his purpose, even when he's impacted millions, and he made an impact on me. So I challenge all you when you leave here today, obviously think different, stand out, how to create attention. But understand it's not what you do, it's not how you do it, it's why you do it. And I remember the great philosopher, Will Ferrell, once said, keep throwing darts at the dartboard, you'll eventually hit the bullseye. So keep trying, and as my biggest mentor, Walt Disney, said, all of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. So stand out, be different, have fun, and enjoy the show. Thank you.
We have time for a couple questions. So who's got a question for Jesse?
You want to give the mic?
You mentioned how big when you came out with the name, which I'm not from Savannah, so I don't know much about the Savannah Bananas. But what was the prep work that when you launched the name that made it such a big? What were you doing behind the scenes to get the exposure?
We had no exposure. So we had zero. That's when we were living on the airbed. So and that's the big point. I mean, we were trying to focus on how we could create that attention with the name and then have a plan from there. But we were just marketing and no one cared. It was terrible. So I'd like to say we had a lot of prep work. The only prep work we did is we met with our people and said, guys, we're going to be crucified when we announce this name. Can you handle it? And that was the prep work. We prepared them for that. So I wish I had a direct answer, but we didn't do anything.
Well, I guess what did you do to announce it? What was the announcement?
Yes, so we had a big launch event. And actually, I know Self Magazine's here as well. And they do an amazing job at that. You know, treat every event like it's your baby being born. It's a huge celebration. You make every event bigger than what it is. So we had a huge launch event at the stadium. You know, we had food, we had drinks, we had lots of announcements, freebies, giveaways. We made a huge event. So we brought all the media there to announce the name. And at that point, it just went viral because we had all the media surface there, and that's where it went from there.
Who else has a question?
Oh, my man right here. Yes.
Why don't you have the bananas sing on peanut butter jelly time?
Why don't I have the bananas sing peanut butter and jelly time? If you come to a game this summer, all right, we'll make that happen, all right? You and me, we're going to make that happen, all right? Right here.
What is like the Savannah Banana cheer? Is it like go bananas?
Yes, that is going to be the cheer this year, 100%. Every bit of it. Now, we do the wave, we do a lot, I mean, we tie people during the state and during the games. I mean, our first base coach, if you've heard of him, he's a breakdancing first base coach that does a moonwalk, and it's Michael Jackson, it's crazy. But I like that cheer. So peanut butter jelly time, go bananas cheer. Got it. Next.
Team Apple or Team Android?
Team Apple or Team Android? All right. So what did I talk a lot about? Think different. You know where that campaign came from? Apple. All right. You got to think different. That was a brilliant campaign for them. All right.
What would your suggestion be for brands or companies who don't have a cornerstone of friendly, fun? I mean, your brand is very much lends itself to what you're advocating. I love it. But if that's not the pivotal point or the voice and tone of your company, how would you apply it?
I would challenge if a company's not friendly and fun, to be friendly and fun. All right? You think about it, I don't know the company enough to be more specific, and we could talk afterwards, but the reality is, I'll tell you, even the biggest companies, professionalism is boring and weird wins. Think about this. How many times you said during a day, I just met the most professional person. Oh, what a professional person. Oh, that company was just so professional. I mean, think about it. People are so scared to get a little different. They're so scared to, embrace criticism. If you're not getting criticized a little bit, you're not doing anything. So I think so many people play it too safe. So I would challenge that, say, we have to be structured like this. Be a little fun. Go over the top. Enjoy it. That would be what I would suggest.
Can you talk about the time when you overcame the internal doubters and the external doubters?
Yes. So internally, you mean our staff doubting it?
Or in your own...
Oh, geez, self-doubt? Oh, yeah. I wasn't sleeping for months. Yeah. Finally, we started seeing success. And, I think internally, it was just you started seeing, people are starting to get it. You have to believe in anything. We believed in it. External, you got to start proving yourself. I think the reality is we proved ourselves by starting selling tickets. When we announced our first selling, people were like, what? People actually care about this team? And then so externally, we just started to keep doing our thing, putting ourselves out there. So from a brand standpoint, guys here, if you don't have a videographer, I would suggest getting one, finding one, working with one, because that tells your story. How do you tell your story more? We've sent out so many videos. We have a full-time videographer on staff, which is crazy for a baseball team, and we've generated 1.5 million views on our videos, done music videos and craziness. That tells the story out there, so people see you're fun. You actually have to continue to tell the story. So that's what helped over time. Good question. Anything else? All right. Thank you, guys.
So the unofficial theme of Geekend is going to be less professional. I think. We're going to try to have fun. We have an exciting announcement coming up. I'm going to introduce